Your media, where you are. There are so many demands on you. Demands at home, in the boardroom, and in the bedroom. You have to be jack of all trades, wearing a different hat when the moment arises. You're on all the time, always on the clock, always catching up. Take care of you. Introducing Your Media, your podcast network that meets you where you are, when you need it, at your time, in your space, when you feel like it. You come first. Your Media, where you are. Before we, there is I. Married to Me with Popo takes a provocative look at our idea of self and family in the 21st century. You have to be jack of
Welcome to the first episode of Married to Me with Popo on Your Media, where you are. I am so excited. I feel like I am exactly where I'm supposed to be today, doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. And yeah, Married to Me with Popo. I think I'm going to start by giving a shout out to our founder, KG Mabusela. He saw something in me, he saw something in us, and he was just like, I am going to make something of this. I am going to unearth what already exists in the people I know and showcase what matters and what is important. The name of my show is Married to Me with Popo. And before I introduce my guests, I'm going to tell you why I called it that. I have had quite a colorful journey, I think, a seriously colorful journey. I was that mainstream girl who went to church. I was Christian, want to get married, have kids, and things just went left, but not in a bad way, I think something about my spirit just fought to know more and to identify what more could be, what different could be. And now I live in this space that most people do not even recognize. And my passion is human beings being exactly who they are, whatever that means. So tonight in studio, I have two of the people who know me the best in this life. I have my brother, Lerato Makhetha, and the lady I call my wife, Lindiwe Mhlambo. And I guess for me, it was important to have them in studio first because I think whenever you're put in a certain position, people will always question what qualifies you, right? So I'm calling people to be themselves and be brave. And, so I guess for me, I'm just like, I'm going to show you my bravery. I'm going to show you my bravery. I'm going to have the so I'm first going to introduce you to my brother, Lerato Makhetha. He is the third born at home. I'm the second of five. Daddy Larry.
What's going on, Popo? I'm so happy to be here. Listen, can I just say this first? When you said your intro, you said, hello. I wanted to go, Popo. Oh, man, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for this journey that you're on. I'm so excited for what it's going to look like. I'm so excited for these conversations that you're going to have. You know that I think that you are one of the most brilliant minds that I know. And I'm so happy that you get to share that with the world right now, with this platform. So shout out to KG, shout out to Your Media, shout out to this entire thing. You are exactly where you need to be. And you were talking about bravery earlier on, and I'm saying, yes, this is what different looks like, which is what you're saying in your intro. This is what different looks like, and I couldn't be happier for you. And thank you for having me on your first episode.
Oh, okay. The goal was not to cry on air. Not doing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
No, but Larry, tell us about you. Tell us about you. You're my brother, but who are you? What are your passions? What are your convictions? Who are you? Tell us about you.
I'm just a guy. No. So, Lerato Makhetha, I am 34 years old. I have been married to a very beautiful woman for the past, this is our 10th year of marriage, going into 11. I've got 2 baby girls. I am in broadcasting as well. I'm a musician. I've got an academy for children between the ages of 13 and 19. We're starting a choir. We're going to have this great production.
Amazing.
I love what you're doing here because I'm also a YouTuber. I just believe in putting content out just to challenge people's thinking. You know what I mean? Where they're going and challenge their positions and just create a platform, through my life where people can start to have conversations that they wouldn't have otherwise had had they not engaged with the content that we're putting out there. So,
Also in studio, I have the wife, Lindiwe Mhlambo. I think outside of Larry, she is the other. I can't even say the other person. She may know me better than he knows me. Lindiwe, introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Tell us about your passions. Tell us about what drives you, what's important to you. I think it's important for you guys to introduce yourselves properly as well. I want them to know who you are because that speaks to who I am. Malindi.
Well, Lindiwe Mhlambo, like you have said, your wife, your adoring wife. Firstly, I'd like to say I'm so proud of you. This is such an amazing space for you to be in because I believe in you so much and you have the gift of being able to articulate what other people aren't able to communicate even about themselves, let alone with other people. So this is the perfect platform for you to help people fall more in love with themselves or evolve more into themselves and gain some sort of self-identification. And I think this is the perfect space for you and I'm so proud of you. About me,
About
I'm not a woman of many words.
Yeah.
My wife is the one who has lots of words. I am a spirit-led human being. My passion is holistic healing of the body, mind, and soul. So I basically throw myself or invest in a lot of healing avenues for people, be it massage and meditations and things like that. And I always try and teach people how to connect with themselves, with their higher selves, and connect with God. And that's the gist of who I am.
Basically, she's my guru.
In other words, thank you.
I just felt it was important to have Lindiwe and Larry in studio because when I spoke to KG about this platform, he came to me about a family show, right? He came to me about a family show. And I said to him, my darling, I don't know if I'm qualified to speak about family in the traditional sense, but I think there's definitely value in people maybe reassessing how they define family for themselves. And that's the only way that I could approach the topic of family, because imposition is not my thing. So Larry, as my brother,
Yeah.
Here's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know as I said, I grew up in a Christian home, very traditional home. I'd like to know when you came to the conclusion, where you began to identify that my sister's changing, or my sister's weird, or something's going on here. It's not something that happened overnight, but what was it that you identified? And 2, how did that make you feel? And 3,
Did you feel like you were losing me? We're at an amazing place in our relationship right now. But what was that? How did it feel? And what did you think was happening?
For sure. I think it's a good question. So first and foremost, I never felt like you were losing yourself. I've always felt like you were struggling to find yourself. And I think there's a very big difference. So there wasn't a defining moment, there wasn't a defining season where I felt like you were changing. Instead, I felt like you were becoming yourself. You know what I mean? And you were getting comfortable with the person that you are. You know, you were going through acceptance and self-love, and I mean, it happens with most people, right? So we go through life, and in our teenage years, we deal with peer pressure, and we're dealing with, in your case, you know, it was boys and it was friendships and acceptance, and what does this friendship look like, and why? I think you had a moment of like, okay, my life is never going to be the same. And even though I think you may have had a couple of years of trying to find it, it was the first time I saw you pursuing yourself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So before your child, you were pursuing other people. And then after you had a child, you started pursuing yourself. And it took some time, and it was great and everything, but now, I mean, I speak about you with my wife, as you can imagine, you know, and we laugh all the time. We say, hey, Popo, you know, she's her own person, she's got her own mind, but there's one thing my wife always says about you. She says she respects the fact that you are honest. You are honest with yourself, and you allow yourself enough grace to be honest with other people. So was I ever concerned? Truth. Right? And so how that lands with other people could potentially be a little bit offensive.
I hear you.
But because I know you, I always knew your heart. I always knew where you stand. I always knew, and that I never questioned. I never, ever, ever questioned your heart.
That's amazing. Let me tell you guys a story. So I think Larry's right about me struggling a lot with myself. And I'm going to tell you, I was actually speaking to Lindiwe, was it yesterday, when we were speaking about our journeys within Christianity. And I was saying to her, I think that Christianity didn't work for me because the thing you're speaking about, Larry, about my always having been completely honest about who I am and where I am. I felt like I connected with God in the Christian church, but I always worried that I wasn't adequate because I never spoke in tongues. I was never that person who was falling on the floor. And I was just like, but God, I'm here. I remember pleading with God and saying, please fill me with the Holy Spirit. I'm here. I'm serving. I'm committed. There was always a yearning. I never felt complete, you know, and I think that's why I struggled with so much. It stemmed from, I am not good enough within my belief, you know, and I'm going to tell you guys about a time. I feel like we must see your face when I tell you this. There was a time when my brother called me. I struggled with men, guys. I've struggled.
I struggled with the same men that you brought. So, Chief, I'm not sure about this one. Maybe we did outreach.
And my brother, he's younger than me, by the way, but he's my big brother, just by the way. To both of us, to both Lindiwe and myself. And he called me. He was like, yo, bro, let's go have a drink. You know, I'm thinking, yeah, let's go have a drink. Hey, I get there, he gives me bad news. He says to me, he says to me, Popo, you keep having the same experience with men. And this is why you keep having the same experience with men. Because you give off a desperate energy. That's what my brother said to me. Getting pissed off, getting upset. Where's he getting living?
I saw the way you were drinking that beer.
Getting upset. Where's he getting heart palpitations? I'm like, how dare, how come? You know, how can you say this to me? You know, but that was honest, you know, and he told me in hindsight, Popo, in hindsight, you will thank me for this. You will thank me for this honesty. And that is the very reason honesty is now the premise on which I stand, regardless of what it comes with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then there is my relationship with Lindiwe Mhlambo.
Yeah, you're right.
My wife,
Yeah.
the wife.
Yeah.
So Lindiwe is who I refer to as my wife. She is my life partner. She is my co-parent. She's the mother of the home. I am the father of the home sometimes, but I'm not a man. I'm a woman fully. I am a straight woman, but this woman's my wife. Lindiwe, I'd like you to share the beginning of our journey, because I feel like if I say it, people probably won't believe me.
Hey, Popo ungishiyile shame. I've always been a reserved individual. Keep to myself, very small circle of people that I talk to. And Popo and I actually met in 1999. We were in high school. We were in the same high school. She was a year behind me. We'd talk and stuff. And there was just this thing, though. And she keeps saying to me that when she saw me, she was like, she is going to be
That's my
friend. That's my girl. And fast forward to our adult lives. We both have kids. I have a son from my womb. And she's blessed me with a daughter from her womb. So we have 2 kids. And I remember I always call her Palisa, like Popo was like, you know, my Slavic. So Slavic pretty much started talking to me, and she kept inviting me over, and let's have some wine, let's meet after work, you know, come over, hang out with Gia and I, you and Mpo. And I keep asking myself, what is happening? Why does this girl always want me around? And I was like, okay, because I wasn't used to people. And eventually I started opening up, and we started hanging out quite a lot. Like, we'd literally see each other at least 3-4 times a week.
I was stalking.
And we were living in our individual homes. And then the one day, we both found ourselves at a place where we were like, okay, we're both looking for a place to stay. We're literally at each other's houses most of the week anyway. So let's do this. Let's co-parent. And it organically happened. We didn't have a conversation where we were like, we want to start this life together. We need to help each other out, share the child responsibilities, adult responsibilities, I mean. And it organically happened. And I think it stemmed from a relationship that was based on respect and trust and love, and it just blossomed into that. And we pretty much share everything. Like, she knows me more than anyone on this entire planet. And we're able to bring up the best in each other. We always want the best for each other. And that's a really beautiful relationship to have, and a lot of people don't have that, and I'm so grateful for it. And that's how we are each other's wives.
I think having witnessed your relationship, it's a beautiful thing, and I was never confused. I was never concerned. By the way, I'm a Christian, saved, sanctified, washed by the blood of the Lamb.
Absolutely.
Hallelujah.
But
His
come
Lord
on,
and
somebody
Savior.
turn to your neighbor. Glory.
Glory.
Yeah, but I lead with love. And for me, Popo, I hope you can back me up when I say that. For me, my bottom line is: are you okay? Are you comfortable? Are you experiencing love? Are you safe?
Yeah.
Are you know what I mean? Do you feel like you have the kind of support around you that you need? And of all the relationships that you've had, bar none. And I mean, of the ones that I've known about at least and been a part of, this is the greatest one that you've ever had, you know. And so it wasn't as much as the social construct of it, you know what I mean, like what it looks like socially, you know, it never bothered me, even as a Christian, because practically on the ground, you know, we can say, yeah, it's my wife or whatever, just to kind of just be provocative, right? But I understand what it is. It's the function that you guys are, you know, like this is my partner, this is my ride or die, this is the person that I go to. I can't be there for you like Lindy's there for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, whatever it looks like, I always say to my wife, I don't care what things look like. I'm bothered about what they are. Let's deal with what they are as opposed to what they look like. Just a side note.
But let's be honest about this. Let's be honest about this. This is something that Mom and Dad, I told you what the show was about. You're going to have to be fine.
Don't be surprised.
It's not a surprise.
It's not.
I'll send you the link too. Anyway, so let's be honest about the fact that our parents have struggled with this.
For sure.
You know, and I think that's one of the reasons this platform is so important. This show is so important. I'm not saying be brave, it's going to be fine. I'm saying be brave, but it comes with what it comes with.
It may end in tears.
It may end in tears, but here's the thing. Also, if you're going to decide to be brave, if you're going to make a decision, you also need to be accountable for that decision. You also need to be honest with yourself about who the people in your life are and how they may respond or react to that. My parents and I have struggled, one, with what my father called, how did he put it?
This is gonna
what did he say? He said, your unfortunate spiritual choices. One. And two, with what I think he assumed was a lesbian relationship because he is a Christian. And for him, those two things are completely unacceptable because balesa ochisa mpepo, balesa ochisa incense, balesa wa meditator, balesa wa phahla, balesa sa kena kereke, balesa ubitsa biblical guideline, not doctrine. So I think whoever's listening can imagine the contention that came with. But I decided to be brave, guys, because, and this is why, because I knew that I had a lot of struggles as a human being. I struggled with temper, I struggled with esteem, I struggled with rage, and there's so many things that I now don't struggle with. I'm not saying it's completely gone and I'm perfect now, but I'm saying I'm doing really, really well because I decided that I was going to demand to be exactly who I am, and whether or not you accepted it, that's what it is, that's what you get, take it or leave it.
The other side of that conversation is that when you make those kinds of decisions, unfortunately, there are a lot of gray areas even for you. And so when anybody comes against an idea that doesn't sit well with them, they'll immediately push back because it's not something that resonates with them. So you are offensive no matter what you bring to the table. Just by virtue of one door that you've decided to walk through, we can't separate the issues. To say, no, I'm still your daughter. I still love my child. I still, you know what I mean? I still believe in God. I still, you know, whatever those things are, it unfortunately is now all looked through the filter of, oh no, but you're doing all of that stuff, right? So we also need to get to a place where we are okay with that. So I'm supporting what you're saying, to say, but I also want us to sympathize with the next person. You being the perpetrator, you know, of the hurt.
The pep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You being the perpetrator of the hurt, it's very unfortunate that, unfortunately, you have to be understanding of the next person, but you're the person that needs the most understanding.
Absolutely.
Right? But once you understand that, no, my aura is offensive. So So how do I self-actualize without dimming my light? You see, and it's a tightrope that you have to constantly be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but this is my truth. And how do you do that with the utmost grace, with the utmost love? Because you're fighting a battle.
Yeah.
You're fighting your own battle of self-actualization and coming out to the world.
Yeah.
But you know, how do you ground that? I all I'm saying is I understand how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
For me, Larry, in response or in addition to what you've said, Palisa and I have gone through those struggles, both sides of our families, and even in social circles, with friends in the workplace. We've been judged quite a bit, and people just assume what they assume. And within our spiritual evolution or growth, individually and collectively, we found ourselves in a place where no matter what you say, we're not going to reject your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion, and that's okay. Your opinion is received with love and respect and understanding. And what we then do is we provide an environment for anyone who comes into our space, no matter what your denomination is, to be able to be themselves and ask questions without feeling like they're fighting the entire world. And we found that whenever we're together, or even in our home space, people generally open up about things that they wouldn't talk about to anyone else, because it's a safe space, because we fought against social norms. We're nonconformist. And them watching us actually live that life has helped them be like, okay, so I can question certain things that I'm not sure of, but I've been fed these things as the truth and as the discipline I need to live according to. But here I can ask questions and someone can actually respond to me authentically with truth and with love and within that spirit of you're accepted no matter what you think or what your issues are.
Yeah, I mean, Larry, you and I both know that our sister, no, that a couple of months ago she came out to our parents as pansexual.
Yeah.
Right? And she was very frustrated with how they reacted. And here's what I said to her. I was like, Mpa, you'll be fine. You put a video on social media coming out to the world. It's not a secret.
It's not. Yeah.
Anyway, so I said to her, I was like, darling, you can't be that disappointed. You know who your parents are.
Yeah.
You know their convictions. You know their beliefs. When you make that decision for yourself, you need to be fair to the people who are going to receive it. You cannot expect them to welcome it with open arms. So as much as I'm saying that this is the journey that I encourage, I'm also saying it's not going to be easy. That's why it is the road less traveled. That road does not have tar. That road is you're going through the bundus. You're climbing trees. There are snakes. There are animals. It's the elements. It's the desert. Yes, I feel like it's worth walking the road though. I have experienced so much rejection from certain family members, and I think it comes from a place of fear. That's another thing I want us to talk about. Fear. I feel like most people operate from a place of fear. The thing they don't understand, they reject and get mad at and panic, and they get anxiety because they fear it, because they don't understand it. And I really feel like the world needs to find a space where when we don't understand something, we don't immediately reject it. We try to find out more, because I think that there are more people living quote unquote weird lives, but are doing it in obscurity because they supposedly, I feel like they're more weird people than supposedly normal people in this world, to be honest with you. But the world says that we must be in a certain way. Let's take a little breather. We'll be right back. So yeah, Lindiwe, I would like to ask you a question.
Yes, my love.
Why do you? No, let me phrase this properly. How do you think? Firstly, let's start with where you come from. You and I don't necessarily have the same roots, but we definitely, no one could have predicted that we would have chosen this relationship for ourselves. What do you think your life would have looked like if you took the predictable road? And how do you think you would be different if you hadn't taken the unpredictable road?
I definitely was on my way on that journey to take the predictable route, especially in my early 20s, teenage years into early 20s. And I also did, I wasn't born into Christianity, but I gravitated towards it because I had a hunger for a relationship with God. And so there was that influence when it came to how your life should look, get married, have children, all of that in the Christian environment. But I always say to people that I value my spiritual incubation in the Christian environment so much because that was my springboard of which I started connecting with God because I didn't know how to do that. But that's where I learned all of that and I opened up to it. And in terms of my spirituality, I would have stayed in that environment if I got married and had kids, and I would have had this hunger to evolve into something more because there was always something, let me not say more, I had this hunger to evolve into a different direction, as in not completely negate what Christianity did for me, but build on it. So it forms part of my building blocks in terms of my spirituality. And I would have definitely gotten married. There were many possibilities.
There were
suitors. Okay, let's call them suitors. I don't know about suitors, but there were potentials.
You had options.
And I had this plan that I was gonna have 5 children and get married and live an amazing life, get married early, and I would have evolved into who I am now. And I know for certain that I would have felt stifled because it's always been in me. I would have felt caged by my life, but it's the life I would have chosen for myself. So I would have found myself in a place where I don't know where else to go, and I would have been unhappy in a certain part of my life, but fulfilled in terms of the picture that I was fed and that I decided to subscribe to.
I definitely like to make a disclaimer though, right? I'm not against marriage or traditional family structures. I believe that everything ain't for everybody. I believe that marriage was probably for, actually, let me ask you, Larry, do you think that you're married, as you mentioned? Do you think, because you gotta go home.
Love you, baby. I love you so much. I just want you to know that I love you.
Wow. Do you feel that the choices you've made for your family structure were necessarily right for you? Do you think that maybe if you'd been offered other choices, you may have made different choices? Do you think that you're operating at your higher self with the choices that you've made in terms of what you decided your family is going to be, and how you're going to navigate your life? Because I'm not putting you on the spot.
No, you're not. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's an open platform, right?
Yeah.
So we should have the conversation. And I think there are a lot of people going, he said he's the Christian one. Let's so look, I've never been confused or shy about the fact that I feel like I married too early.
Okay.
I was 24, and there were definitely a lot of things that I feel like I needed to work out. Having said that, I know that it is the best decision. It is the hardest decision that I've ever made, but I'm definitely a better man for it. There's something about making choices and backing them up. So I just want to take this back a little bit. You were talking about our sister and how she came out, and the words you used was, you have to understand that when you make that choice for you, and this is what we often do, right? We make choices and then we want people to nurse the repercussions.
Absolutely.
And it's like, no, you must understand that you made that choice for you. And you know, I'm Mr. Accountability. Like, you must be accountable for the choices that you make.
Yeah.
So it's almost become immaterial whether I feel like I'm living my best and wasn't the right choice and whatever, because I still have a choice today to live my best life. Through the filter of the choices that I've made, that as a man, I'm going to stand up and say, no, this is the choice I've made. So I'm going to back it up. I'm going to stand behind it. And I'm going to fight to live my best life within this institution. You know what I mean? Now, naturally, because I'm in the institution, there are a lot of barriers to entry. Right? There's the red tape, chief. There's the red tape.
Yeah.
You're going where? Why you? No, baby, but you must understand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what that has also taught me is this. Today, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Today, there are a lot of difficult personalities that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
I have to jump through hoops. I have to negotiate all the time. I have to whatever. Whereas had I been single, I would have just bulldozed my way through things without the emotional intelligence that I have today. 100%. So I use my choices, the choices that I've made, whether I feel like rightly or wrongly. So I don't believe in mistakes. You don't make mistakes. Everything is there for your growth. Everything is there for your development.
Yeah.
I hope I've answered your question.
You have. And I think that's why, because I think a lot of people would assume that just because we have different beliefs and we've made different family choices for ourselves, maybe we'd be at loggerheads. I think really at the core of what and who the human being is your values. I don't think your values and my values are very different to each other.
No, they're the
We
same.
stand on honesty. We stand on, even Lindiwe, I'm including her, my wife, never forgetting you. We stand on integrity. We stand on honesty. We stand on accountability, right? And I think when you're clear about what your values are, you tend to be able to I don't know how to put it, to, what's the word? Lindy and I let me give you an example. I can't find the word. So the other day I was speaking to my dad on the phone. I was speaking to Papa on the phone. I'm saying my dad for the listeners. I'm speaking to Papa on the phone. And the very one who said my spiritual choices are unfortunate. And we were speaking about my biological, our daughter, Kia. And he said to me, Balisa, I hope that you will still allow your mother and I to have a spiritual influence in Kia's life. And I said to him, I was like, Papa, me, I'm pro-choice. That is something I stand on. I'm pro-choice, which means I do not stand on imposition, which means it's fine. You can influence her as much as you want to, but also I can influence her, and Tony at school can influence her, and Mohonos Mangman can influence her. And at the end of the day, I am going to respect whatever choice she makes for her faith, because I believe that faith is personal. Which is why I don't need to be at loggerheads with you just because we're different. Because we don't have to agree about parenting styles, etc. What family is, what's valid, what is invalid, as long as our values are agreeable, you know. And I think that's why people feel so safe. Like Linz was saying, how people feel so safe in our space, even if they may not agree with what we believe, because we never alienate anyone. And I really feel like it's really problematic that I'm going to say it, especially Christians. I find them to be huge hypocrites. I find them to be really judgmental. And another thing I believe is that people like that, it's generally a them problem. So what is the problem? Larry, do you agree with me about that? Like, I know that you are Christian, but you're not Christian like other Christians for me. You know what I mean? I really am just like you're hypocrites. You're hypocrites, and you're judgmental. You're two-faced.
You're not saying me, ne? She's not
No,
saying
I'm not
me.
saying. No, I'm not
She's
saying
saying
you.
other Christians.
I feel like at the core of it, I can accept whatever it is you believe as long as it stands on love. Christians struggle with that love thing.
Okay, cool. I hear you. I hear you, and I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Completely. As a matter of fact, it's actually not a disagreement. I've just got a different perspective on it.
Okay.
So, I believe that if there is anything that you follow and anything that you subscribe to, there are certain rules and regulations, right? There are certain. So when you go to a school, there's a uniform that you wear. At a certain time, you need to arrive at school. At a certain time, you need to go to this class based on the schedule that they've given you, right? So, from a Christian standpoint, you are right. The Bible is a guideline, but it is more than a guideline for us. It is literally God's word. So there are a couple of things to me that says, train up a child in the ways of the Lord and they will never depart from those ways. I think about verses that say, no one will come to the Father except through me. And this is Jesus Christ talking, right? Now, you must remember that if there is anything that I love, right, where we often miss each other is how we translate that love. For some people, they see it as possession. And then for other people, it's a protection. And that's where we often blur the lines, right? It's not possession, but it is translated as possession, where what we want to say is, no, this is the way I know how to protect you because I love you. Does that make sense? So, as a Christian, when I read the Bible and it says things like, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That is something that I hold very dear to my heart. It is not because I am not pro-choice. It is because I have been taught and I believe that I should train up my child and treat her and raise her up in the ways of the Lord. But I do know that there is going to come a day where she is going to then have to make that choice, and I need to be respectful of that choice. That's where we lose it.
Okay.
There's that moment where I have to say, okay, you're a grown woman now. You know what I mean? You're expressing to me that, listen, I'm not so clear about this. And I've said to you, if anything to me as a Christian means that much to me, then I go away and I pray about it. If I haven't prayed about it, then what am I banging you over the head with a hammer for? Telling you that, no. Because again, the Bible tells me that the battle is not against flesh and blood, but it's a spiritual battle. So I need to fight it in the spirit. So yes, I am very liberal and I'm very whatever, and I leave because I understand the principle that God and the devil, the battle is won. So I'm not in a battle with you, for instance. I'm not, I'm not fighting, I'm not going, whatever. But the Bible does tell me that my responsibility is to love you. Of all of the fruits of the Spirit, love, patience, kindness, but the greatest of all of these is love. We went to Mopaso. There was a ceremony happening. We vlogged about it, and my wife and I went. We went. Why? Because our responsibility first is to love you.
I just feel like we could go on and on. This show was, guys, I think, I had Lindiwe and I had Larry on today, because I think the priority for me was that you are comfortable with the fact that I'm not encouraging you to do things or choose things that are going to end in tears, and I'm living a cushy life. I'm not Beyonce saying all the single ladies, but I'm married, getting married to Jay-Z. I'm saying to you, I have made the difficult choice. I have made choices where I knew I would be rejected by my family. I was that girl who during lockdown, I asked to go home and stay with my parents, and my father was like, stay where you are because there will be no Mpepo in my house. Stay there. You can visit. And he said, if you were to come, it would be very conditional. And I stood on who I am and what I believe. And I was like, no, Wala, I will stay where I am.
Sorry. And
Yes.
and so did he.
And so did he.
And so did he.
And so
Yeah.
did he.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, so I'm not even saying, guys, I'm not saying he did a bad thing.
Yes.
He stood on his convictions.
Yeah.
And I stood on mine.
For sure.
And that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying, even if it's difficult, there are certain things that are difficult that are worth fighting for. And I want this platform to be a place that inspires you and dares you to go for that thing that absolutely terrifies you, but you know that you inherently need to the seat of your soul. And I'm hoping that you'll walk that road, that you'll walk that journey with me. I'm hoping that we talk and we piss each other off and we make each other laugh and we make each other cry and we change and we grow and we become everything that we were destined to be. And I'm actually getting really emotional, and I'm not going to cry on air.
Yes, you are.
So no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Not today, because the overriding feeling is just gratitude and happiness and just like, yes, we're doing this now.
We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
proud
you.
of
And I'd really like to thank Daddy Larry, my Lindy, for being here today. There is no one else I would have rather launched this with. This was exactly how it was supposed to happen, and I know that you guys stay in my corner praying for me and just sending me love, light, positive energy. And yeah, I appreciate you. Daddy Larry, how can people follow you on the I'm putting you on the social media because you've got the vlog, you've got the what, you've got the things.
On Instagram, I am at Son of Jerry. It's got dots in between, son.of.jerry, or you can just search Lerato Makhetha. On Facebook, I am Lerato Makhetha. On YouTube, we've got a YouTube channel called The Max. That is MAKHS. So follow The Max. It's Life is But a Dream with The Max. And yes, I'll say that for now.
Thank you, sir. Malini?
Wow.
Well, I mean, you got your like massage business and whatever. You want to give out your WhatsApp number? Like, let's put you on.
On Facebook, I'm Lindiwe Mhlambo. Instagram, Lindiwe_Mhlambo. And for massage and healing therapy, I'm on WhatsApp for bookings on 082-898-2918.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my guest. And before I go, I would like to let you all know what you should be looking forward to for my next couple of shows. So I'm going to be having a few features on my show every week. The first one being the showdown. So when we do the showdown, I'm going to be having guests in studio and we will be debating different topics. I will generally be inviting people who disagree with what my opinions are, because I am not the know-all and end-all of everything. I believe in engagement, I believe in debate, I believe in inspiring people to think. So we'll be having those weekly debates, and we'll also have I said what I said. So this is where I'll put a question out each week, and I'd like you guys to engage with us on social media, Your Media SA on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll be putting that clip out where you answer the question. Actually, the question next week it's actually a statement. The statement is, I would prefer that my child have their first drink in my house. So you can respond to that on all your Media SA platforms. You can follow me on Instagram. I am MIZ, that's Ms underscore Popo 207. You can DM me on Facebook. I am Popo Makhetha. I would prefer that my children have their first drink in their house. It's a yes for me. Let me know what you think. The third one is the others, people like Lindiwe and myself. People who are living lives that people find quite questionable. I'd like to speak to those people, about why they've made those choices, why they are generally happier than people who make the choice they don't want to make, because that's generally what happens. And just getting a peek into the way people are living their lives and what they're doing and how they navigated it and where they are now and what were the difficulties, what were the navigations. So yeah, that's me. That's Married to Me with Popo. It's gonna be amazing, man. It's gonna be amazing. I really look forward to getting to know all of you. I'm excited. I am blessed. I am grateful. And I will see you all next week.
We're ready.
Goodbye.